Hello and welcome to this video on critical appraisal of animal studies. In this video, we will offer hints and tips for appraising medical literature based around animal experiments. References for sources used in this video will appear at the end if you would like to read further on this topic. During your research, you may come across studies where the testing has taken place on animals, such as mice, rats, and dogs. Typically, animal studies are used to discover more information around medical issues that could be found in both humans and animals, and take place if there are too many ethical issues to study humans, or if there is no other alternative. They may also be used for initial testing before later moving on to human trials. Potentially, it should be quite rare that you will use information from animal studies, particularly as the similarities between animals and humans are not 100%, and therefore may give different results. But on the occasion where there are no other options, it's beneficial to know how to appraise these papers. Unsurprisingly, the first issue we may encounter with animal studies is bias, with the types most frequently encountered being selection, performance, detection, attrition, and reporting bias. Selection bias occurs when there are errors in the selection process and the participants no longer match the target population. When you're looking at an animal study, you would hope to see that the animals have been allocated into their groups randomly, and the process has been concealed from the researchers. The researchers should also list the characteristics of the animals, such as age, sex, and weight, so you can see the spread across the groups. There should also be a clear inclusion and exclusion criteria with justified reasons for their choices. Performance bias relates to errors because of how the participants were treated, or if they are exposed to something outside of the initial treatment. It's important here to check if the researchers have discussed blinding, so they are not aware of which animal has received the intervention and which has received the comparison. Next, we have detection bias, which is bias that occurs if there are errors in how the outcomes are assessed. Again, blinding is important to know about here, as well as the type of measurement which was used for assessment. Was it valid and reliable? For example, if the study was repeated, would the results stay the same? Our fourth bias is attrition bias, which relates to a loss of participants, which in the case of animals is most likely to be death. The researchers should be clear about their starting and ending figures for participants. As with a randomized control trial and other studies, they may include a power calculation or a sample size calculation, where the researchers have calculated how many participants are needed for the study to be effective. It's the final figure below this initial calculation. The final bias that could occur is reporting bias, which is when data is missing from the study. To avoid this, the researchers should be clear and thorough with their reporting. Like with many studies, animal studies may be affected by additional factors outside of the study, known as confounders, or by chance occurrences. For chance, the researcher should state a p-value, which will tell you the likelihood of chance playing a part. Normally, a p-value of less than 0.05 would demonstrate chance is unlikely to have played a part, whereas 0.05 exactly and above would suggest that chance has affected the results. You would also hope to see confidence intervals, which tell us how precise the results are. Confidence intervals are presented by showing the start and end figures, with the true value lying within them. A range which is short and narrow would suggest those in the study experience similar results. Studies may be affected by confounders, which are additional factors outside of the study, which could influence the results, such as baseline characteristics or medical history. The researchers should clearly state what they have done to identify known and unknown confounders, and these should also be tested for during the analysis stage to see whether they change the results. That brings us to the end of this video. If you need further support around critical appraisal, please view our other videos on YouTube, contact your site library, or visit our e-learning course on the Trust Moodle page, available 24/7. There is currently no checklist for appraising animal studies. However, you may want to refer to the ARRIVE guidelines, which offers advice around the minimum requirements needed to be included by researchers for animal studies.